Henry up a big running game against Dallas. Derrick Henry on the run. Hamlin and Lewis chasing at the 40, at the 30. He will score! Quarter with second and goal. And Jackson will roll. He'll throw it to Henry. Touchdown number 2 for number 22.
He goes out and wins the most valuable player award. So that's putting a statement on, I told you I was worth it.
And so is this guy, Derrick Henry, down the sideline to the 1.
Kenny C back here on the ones and twos to get in here and break down that Week 4 Sunday slate. Before I get into it, you know the deal. Subscribe to the channel. Got a few new subscribers over the last few days. Much appreciated. It helps more than you know. Hit that button on the screen. Subscribe. Help me build this platform. Help me get bigger and better content. Let's get into it. We got a multitude of good topics for today's video, including winners and losers, biggest loss of the week or worst loss of the week, Derrick Henry rumbling with the Ravens, and the look ahead, the best Week 5 matchup. Let's start with winners and losers. We'll get into winners here. My winner for Week 4, the Week 4 Sunday slate, is Joe Burrow. Joe Cool and the Bengals get back on track. They get their first win of the season, now 1-3. We know in years prior, last couple seasons, they've started out very slow but started to pick it up. They avoided going 0-4, which is a death trap for most teams. Only the 92 San Diego Chargers were able to make the playoffs after starting the year 0-4. So Burrow and the Bengals avoid that. They beat up, or not so much beat up, but they get the job done against the Carolina Panthers, who are a bad team. 34-24, Evan McPherson's field goal late in the fourth ended up sealing a deal, but Burrow looked good with his guys Chase and Higgins. They finally all seem to be on the same page. Chase with that 63-yard score after broke 3 tackles on that play. Chase Brown, the second-year back, got going out of the backfield. He rumbled for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins, 6 receptions and 60 yards. And on the defensive side of things, the Bengals were without Trey Hendrickson, their leading pass rusher, and they were still able to do enough to get the job done. Now they have a big matchup against the Ravens next week. That's an AFC North divisional round matchup. The Bengals are 1-3. They're trying to slowly climb out of the hole. They are my winner for the week. And now the biggest loser of the week is the Jacksonville Jaguars. 0-4 now on the season in that abysmal AFC South. And Trevor Lawrence, the guy got $275 million, 5-year deal, $55 million annually, $200 million guaranteed. The Jaguars have not played like that. He completed just over half of his passes, 18 for 33, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. The defense really was the weak spot in this game. They could not do anything to slow down CJ Stroud and Nico Collins, who balled out. But the Jaguars, 4 for 12 on third down. They're the worst team in the NFL in terms of third down efficiency. And overall, this is just another stinker for them. Like I mentioned in the winner segment, no team has come back down 0-4 to start the season and made the playoffs. Last team was that Chargers team in '92. Doesn't look good for the Jaguars. They don't look good. Now 0-4 in the season. A lot of question marks. Maybe Doug Peterson's job could be on the line by the season's end. You never like to call for anybody's job, but it's a realistic possibility. Now it's time for the worst loss of the week and the worst game of the week in my opinion as well. That belongs to Gang Green, the New York Jets and the Denver Broncos in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Wet, damp conditions. That game was horrible. It was a stinker to watch. A Jets team that falls to the Denver Broncos, whose quarterback, Bo Nix, the 7th overall pick in this year's draft, had -7 yards at the end of the first half. -7. And you couldn't come away with a victory. Both teams were abysmal offensively. Nix and the Broncos coming in were 1-2. Rookie quarterback. He runs into sacks more often than not. He has a turnover problem, and you still can't beat him. Looking at the Jets side of things, offensively, You grossly underused Braylon Allen and Breece Hall, combined for 38 rushing yards. That falls on Hackett and Salah. I mean, that's just brutal. 4 for 17 on third down. 13 penalties in this game. The offensive line looked horrid, letting their vet quarterback Aaron Rodgers get banged up all game. 5 sacks. The guy's limping in the fourth quarter. He said in the post game, "My legs are a little beat up, but I'm okay." So that's a sigh of relief for sure for Gang Green. With Aaron Rodgers coming off that Achilles, the offensive line has to block better for him. You're playing a Denver Broncos team that should be 1-3 right now. The Jets had the opportunity to go 3-1 and match the Bills in the AFC East and be right up in there battling for first. Now they're 2-2, not far off from first, but you'd like to be tied for it at least, especially in a game that you should have won. You had 9 days to prepare and you failed to pull this game out at home at MetLife Stadium. Unacceptable loss for the New York Jets. They needed to win this game. You can't let Denver rush for 126 rushing yards as well. That defense, Salah better get those boys going, because the run defense we saw in week 1 against the 49ers, it has not been good. They tightened it up a bit last week, but this week, right back to their losing ways. And then to top it off in this game, you had 2 opportunities to win the game. Rodgers and Garrett Wilson did not look good from a connection standpoint in this game. They were just off. Rodgers said, "I made a lot of bad throws." He did. He was not good in this game. They had 2 chances to win the game. You had 2:31 left in the game. They go 4 and out. Then the defense makes a stop. Will Lutz shanks the kick for Denver. You got little over a minute. You charge down the field. And Greg Zuerlein misses wide right, the 50-yard field goal. That's all she wrote. The Jets lose 10-9. They had 2 opportunities to win that game. So that is the worst loss of the week. Derrick Henry and the Purple Birds are a force to be reckoned with now that Derrick Henry has gotten going. He signed with the Baltimore Ravens in free agency. He had a rough, not so much rough, but slow start to the season. His first couple games last week, he had 150 plus with 2 touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys, and this week, 5th most rushing yards in a game in Baltimore Ravens history. 199 rushing yards with a rushing touchdown, 209 total yards from scrimmage with a receiving touchdown as well. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are an absolute force. I think they averaged together, it was either 170 or 190 rushing yards a game as a duo. They are on a historic pace right now. This is a Ravens offense that has struggled in years past to pass the ball effectively. They've always been a good run team. They had guys like Mark Ingram. They had guys like J.K. Dobbins, the Gus Bus, Forsett. They've always been a good team with the rushing attack, but now this puts them even further over the bar, in my opinion, when you have Derrick Henry rumbling like he did on Sunday Night Football. The man broke an 87-yard rushing touchdown, the longest touchdown in Ravens history. Bobby Babich of the Buffalo Bills, they lost 35-10 in this one, had 0 answer for Derrick Henry. He was taking it out of the gun. He was taking it in single back formation. They had no answer for Derrick Henry. He looked like Eric Dickerson out there running with the football. This Ravens team is scary. If Lamar Jackson can pass effectively moving forward and continue to build on that, he's already refurbished his skills as a passer. If he gets Zay Flowers more into that offense, if they can get the tight ends, Earth to Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, if they can get them going, they can be a force. Get Rashad Bateman going more. You have the best of both worlds, because Derrick Henry puts you in the best position to win. Now looking ahead to week 5, to cap this video off, the best matchup for week 5 moving forward, in my opinion, will be the 1 o'clock game between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans in Houston. Both teams are 3-1. The Bills looking to get back into their winning ways. The Texans looking to further extend a winning streak and build a winning streak. Both teams are trying to run away with their respective divisions. This is going to be CJ Stroud versus Josh Allen. I'm going to be eager to see how DeMeco Ryans game plans for Josh Allen and how Bobby Babich game plans to slow down Nico Collins. You're looking at a Texans team that's banged up in the backfield. Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce did not play this past Sunday. They're questionable for this game coming up. They also were without Tank Dell. We'll have to see on him. And then on the Bills side of things, still without Taron Johnson and still without Terrell Bernard for this past Sunday. And I believe Taylor Rapp was banged up. All three of them are questionable. It's early in the week. I'm sure we're going to see at least one or two of both teams of these guys that are questionable. We're probably going to see them play, but this is going to be a battle like no other. Allen versus Stroud, lock in. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content all season long.